Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, and today we have some Call of Duty 4. We're going to be doing a walkthrough of the map Pipeline from Call of Duty 4, which is still relevant, believe it or not, because even though this is a game that came out in 2007, this is a stock map from that game that came out in 2007, this map is still relevant, because it's going to be coming out in Advanced Warfare. It's going to be re-envisioned as the pre-order bonus map, Atlas Gorge. So let me read this off for you guys before we get into this. Atlas Gorge re-envisions a fan favorite from Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, Pipeline. The Atlas Corporation has commandeered the world's largest power source, the Three Gorges Dam in central China, whose sinister backdrop creates a gripping setting for multiplayer battle. Combatants will navigate through the shadows, explore the map's new verticality empowered by exoskeleton technology, and control a map-based turret score streak that overlooks the dam and helps to keep enemies at bay. So basically what they're going to be doing with this map is they're going to be re-envisioning it, making it look like it belongs in China. They're going to incorporate it somehow to make it look like a dam, and they're going to be putting it into Advanced Warfare as the pre-order bonus map, similar to what they did with Call of Duty Ghosts' Freefall and what they did with Black Ops 2's Nuketown 2025. So I would imagine this map is going to be only available to those who kind of like pre-order the game or get a special edition of the game, and then after that, like after a few months or so, they're just going to make it available to everybody, similar to what they did with Freefall, similar to what they did with Nuketown 2025. So the map Pipeline itself, not a very good map in my opinion. Not a really big fan. The setting of it is we're set in a Russian train yard, and it just doesn't play that well, in my opinion. It doesn't play as great as a lot of the other maps from Call of Duty 4, but regardless, we're going to be doing kind of a walkthrough of the map to show you guys what things look like. So right now, we just basically transverse the entirety of the map. We started on the far right to the map, if you guys are looking at that. We made our way all the way over here to the bottom left, which is actually the bottom of the map, if that makes any sense. So this is the bottom, that's the top, even though if you look at the map itself, it's kind of like a left to right style thing, but this is always considered to be the bottom, this is always considered to be a top. It's actually a rather large map with a lot of different areas for you to go into. It's one of those maps that kind of looks like it's a smaller map, but it actually plays like a much bigger map because of all the places you can go. There are rooftops, there is flat ground, there's an entire underground section, which we're going to be showing you guys here, and there's just a lot to this map, and that's one of the reasons I didn't really care for it much during Call of Duty 4, and I still play Call of Duty 4 to this day, even though the game came out in 2007. I play this game quite a lot still, and it's still one of my least favorites. I think one of the reasons for that, though, is the fact that Call of Duty 4 is kind of like so dead with the player count just being so low that it's hard to find a match, so you can't really play domination as easily as you would want to. You know, you can't seem to play Search and Destroy as easily as you want to. You're basically limited to only playing Team Deathmatch, and this map is so big and with so many different areas for you to go into, it's one of those maps where in Team Deathmatch, more often than not, it's going to reach the time limit before you actually reach the score limit, which is not a very good thing. But what we're going to be doing throughout the majority of this video here is we're just going to be walking through different areas of the map. Those of you guys that have played Call of Duty 4 before, this isn't going to be anything mind-blowing or even relatively interesting for a lot of you, but I understand that not everyone is me, right? I understand that. I do get that. I get that not everyone has been playing Call of Duty since 2007 like me, so not everyone has played Call of Duty 4. Maybe a lot of people are wondering as to what the map can do. What are you doing with the map? What's the map layout like? And this is kind of a walkthrough of sorts for you guys to kind of see what you can do. So in this building actually has a lot of fighting, usually, be it domination, search and destroy, team deathmatch, anything really. A lot of people seem to go into this building. There's two main factories. You look at the map here, it's kind of hard to tell, but there's basically two really big buildings. There's this one I'm in, then there's this one I'm pointing at right across the street here, and a lot of people seem to fight in here. There's an entire upstairs section where you can access that from the stairs, you can access it from this ladder, or there's an entire ladder on the outside of the building that will allow you to come up in here, but we're going to be showing that here relatively shortly. Let's jump down here. Let's actually run through this building over here, just kind of get more of a clear look as what we're looking at here in this building. It's got a lot of cars, it's got a lot of boxes, lots of different kinds of covers. Mostly throughout this map, you're going to find a lot of the fighting happens in this building as well as over here in this building. There is an entire upstairs section to this building, which there's two ways to get up here. You can climb all the way up this way, and then climb up this ladder again, and now you're up here on top of this. I'm going to call it almost a third story. It doesn't feel like a second story. It feels too high to be a second story, so I'm going to call it a third story, which you can shoot through here. People can shoot you from below, and you can shoot them and vice versa, as well as you can make your way out here onto the roof. The other way to get up here, which we showed over here, there's this ladder that we just went up. Another way to get up is via getting on top of that ladder over there, getting on this building, and then just jumping onto here. I wonder if I can do it backwards. Yeah, you can just do it backwards. You can always just climb up that ladder, which we'll be doing right now, come up here, and then all you gotta do is run across, jump, and there you go. Now you're on top of the roof, and the roofs actually play kind of a key role in this map. That's one of the reasons I was never really a giant fan of the map, is because there's just people everywhere. There's so many places for people to go and so many things for people to do that it kind of made it so it's a bit more random. It kind of felt more random when you would die, when you would see somebody. It kind of felt like they were at more of a random position rather than like a strategic one, like, oh, I'm trying to defend the flag from this spot. There's like, oh boy, look at me, I'm up on the rooftop watching the middle of the street, which can be done by that turret over there, which we're going to be going to that. I guess we'll go to that now. I feel as though we've covered both of these main buildings. There is a lot of places for you to jump, a lot of places for you to go, but of course, if this were an actual multiplayer map, I'm not going to be running around wide in the open on top of the roof. I'm not going to be jumping on top of this little, would you even call this a gas station? I guess it is. I won't be walking around on this fence, but this map does have a lot of like cool little things like that that you can do where you can just kind of walk around and such. But you come up in here, and the turret they are talking about in the description of the map is actually right here. This is the turret. This is what you do. I mean, the turret itself isn't very helpful. Oh, what am I going to do? Shoot people through the walls? Doesn't really work out that well. You can try and pick off some people inside this building. Doesn't usually work out that well. You do have a shot at this door, but it usually doesn't work out that well. Basically, this turret is for taking people off of Sniper Hill, as I like to call it up there, as well as defending the middle of the street, which can be pretty helpful. But overall, the turret used to be really popular. Now it's not really so much. You know, not a lot of people really seem to be using that all too often. Come back down through here towards the B flag, which we were at a little bit earlier, but still, just kind of giving you guys a little refresher course as to what things look like. And now we're going to show you guys the underground section on the map, because the map not only does it have two big buildings, which there's 2 floors in that building, and there's, I guess, technically 2 floors in this building as well as the entirety of a rooftop. Now we have an entire underground section via this building. There's actually, you go underground, and there's actually 4 ways to access and leave the underground section. So the one way is going down here, and as you can see, there's not really a whole lot down here. It's very confined, very tight through parts of it. And then you get into this room, and you can actually get out right here, which will take you towards the C flag. You're playing Domination. I chose Domination because if you judge Call of Duty Ghosts, you judge Black Ops 2, Domination is the most played game mode, so I figured I would show the maps in Domination here. You can come out right there. You can be right there towards the C flag, which I should point out you can get, you know, underneath here. You can crawl around while you're underneath there. There is a barrier once you get too far, but you can go underneath there. You can also crawl around and hide underneath here, which is one of the reasons this map gets kind of annoying at times. And so let's go back underground here and show the other ways that you can go underground and other places for you to go. There's also a glitch right here, and this is how I'm really going to be able to judge Atlas Gorge here, or Atlas Gorge as it's called. I call it Atlas Gorge all the time for some reason. But one of the things I can tell, if they just straight copy and paste this map into the game, we'll be able to tell, because there's this glitch where you jump and you crouch, you turn around, you go prone, and then you can just lay down and get inside in here, which makes it so it's really hard for you to be able to be seen in here. And I'm wondering if they're going to catch that when they remake this map. How I think they do remakes is they kind of, you know, take the map, they kind of just like copy and paste it in there, then they change around the textures, and they may add some new things and whatnot. I wonder if that's going to be in there, because it's very easy to get into this glitch. It's no effort really at all. You just jump, crouch, and go prone. It's very simple. But we're going to continue on down here. There's 2 ways we can go here underground. This way is going to take us into one of the buildings in which we were in earlier. And here we are in that building. It can take you in this way. And the 4th and final entrance / exit to the underground section is going to be over this way. There's also another glitch down here that I can show you guys that has been patched in 2007. So right here, there's that thing, right? Let's just run and jump onto it. Oh, of course I have to fail. Let's knife so I can get my energy back. Run, jump, and here we are. Notice I'm not even on anything. I'm not even saying anything, but yeah, people would camp up here in headquarters. It used to be really annoying, but yeah, they never end up patching that. But here's the 4th and final way for us to get in and out of the underground section, which of course is this building, which we used earlier to be able to climb up that ladder and get on top of the roof. So there's an entire underground section. Now let's explore, shall we, this little area up here, which I'm going to call Sniper Hill, because when I first started playing this game, I would lay back here my sniper rifle. I've mentioned this story a couple times. You know, when I first started playing Call of Duty, I wanted to be the sniper. I wanted to be the stealth guy in the back of the map. So whenever we would play this map, I'm like, oh, this map's great, because I just go up here on top of this hill. I go all stealthy and prone next to this tree, and I can just snipe people as they try and cross the street, or I can get people out of the turret building. You know, that's what I would end up doing. But we're back up here towards the top of the map where we were when we initially started. And this is basically what we're going to be looking at. This is basically going to be Atlas Gorge. Now, of course, they're going to be changing how the map looks. And sometimes when they really change the way the map looks, it kind of almost doesn't even feel like, you know, the map that it's supposed to replicate. But you know, I'm okay with the change, because if you look at it, everything's just kind of gray. kind of dreary here, right? It's not really the prettiest map of all things in the world, but I guess they're going to be changing it. And I think the thing we should really worry about, though, with Atlas Gorge is what are they going to be doing to change it? Because no longer can they just remake a map and put it back into the game. Oh, no. They have to completely change it somehow, like with what Infinity Ward is doing with Shipment by bringing in the new map. And, yeah, I'm worried about what they're going to do to change it, although maybe the changes will be for the better. Of course, there's going to be increased verticality because we're going to be able to have super jumping jetpacks in our feet now. And so we're going to be checking that out in Advanced Warfare and seeing how that works. But for the most part, the map itself was actually one of my least favorite in Call of Duty 4. I think there was a lot other great choices they could have went with. I would have preferred definitely to have Bog, maybe Crash. I definitely would have preferred to have other maps in the fold, such as Wetwork. Wetwork's actually a pretty good map. I definitely would have preferred Ambush. Ambush would have been a pretty cool map to have. There's actually a lot of good maps in Call of Duty 4. Bacon comes to mind. Strike comes to mind. Just about every single map in this game, in my opinion, is awesome, with the exception of this one, as well as the map Block, which, even though I love the setting of Block, is set in Pripyat in the Ukraine and stuff, I really like the setting of it, but for the most part, it doesn't really play that well as Pipeline here has that exact same problem, where you might like the setting of it, but it really, yeah, I don't really like the way it plays a whole lot. So I'm kind of questioning why they chose it to be a fan favorite. I'm wondering if Call of Duty developers, I think Treyarch even is kind of guilty of this, if they just pick a map to remake and then they justify it by calling it a fan favorite. I remember during Black Ops 2, they brought back the World at War map Courtyard. They called it Dig. Right, we're bringing back the fan favorite Courtyard. I'm like, did you even play World at War? No, Courtyard was not a fan favorite. Courtyard would get vote to skipped a lot of the time. A fan favorite would have been Dome. But they didn't bring back that because that would have been too hectic and too crazy for all the people to be able to handle. And you can actually fall through the roof right here. You can of course just walk along this little banister right here, but you can fall through the roof and take some damage. Now I'm gonna try and do this real quick here, just to end off the video here. I'm gonna try and do it and hopefully not fail. This is kind of like a secret little spot that I like to go to when we would play Michael Myers in open lobbies. Let's see if we can get here. Gotta go ever so slightly. It takes finesse. No, I did it. All right, sick. Takes a lot of finesse, but you can get up here and you can defend the C flag and domination, although once they realize that you're there, they're just going to come back and kill you. But it's kind of a cool spot if you're ever playing private match game modes with your friends, which Call of Duty 4, I've done a ton of that, be it with friends, be it with subscribers and open lobbies. I'm thinking one of these days soon here on Twitter, we're going to get together another COD4 open lobby because they're just really fun to play, especially Michael Myers. Just lots of fun to play private matches in Call of Duty 4 with subscribers. It's having lots of fun. It's a really cool thing. But regardless, Atlas Gorge, this is going to be the map. Of course, it's going to look completely different, but the general map layout is going to be, I would assume, very similar to the map that it's trying to replicate, which is this map, which is Pipeline from Call of Duty 4. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and I realize that not a lot of you guys probably maybe played Call of Duty 4, so hopefully this video provides some insight as to what you guys can expect from that map, and how it's going to look, and how it's going to work, and how it's going to play, and where stuff is going to be. And yeah, hopefully that was helpful to you guys, because, sometimes I forget that not everyone has played Call of Duty since 2007 like me. Sometimes I forget people haven't been playing, put as much playtime into Call of Duty as I have. So it's kind of nice sometimes to do little walkthroughs like this, and you guys can check that out. Then tomorrow, actually, the new Call of Duty Ghost DLC, the Nemesis DLC, is going to be coming out, and we're going to be doing walkthroughs of that as we do with every single DLC map. Although from what I've seen already of it, not very excited about that, because what they did to Shipment is a disgrace. But we'll be talking about that in tomorrow's video, where we do walkthroughs of the new Shipment remake. But regardless, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys all found it informative. And if you did, please be sure to leave a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.